So many of you have asked me over the last few videos, what's the difference between my Fastpacking gear and my backpacking gear? And so we're having a beautiful day here in December in Colorado. And so I thought I'd come outside and we would actually show you the different setups for both of the gear. Now, there are a couple of things that are in the Fastpacking setup right now that would also be in this setup too. But we'll go through that as we're going through stuff. So let's start off and just looking at the bags, right? So you can tell that this one is a lot smaller and a lot lighter weight than this one. And so this one here, it's still pretty lightweight, but it's starting to get, close to twice the weight of this one. But a lot of that is because I take a lot more comfort items when I go out and I'm going backpacking. Because if you guys have seen my channel before, you've seen that as much as I enjoy going ultralight, and that I find that the older I get, the lighter weight I can go with my gear, the further I can go, the less aches and pains I have. But I also like to have fun and be comfortable out there. I'm not 20 anymore like I used to be. But when I'm running the trails, I do want to go as light as I can, as possibly can. And so, there are some sacrifices I will make sometimes for one of my fastpacking trips. So this one here, if you guys have seen the loadout of that video, comes out base weight without any water or food or consumables at around 6.8 pounds. This one here, if you've seen that video, that's the 2026 ultralight bougie video that I did of my summer gear. So this will be kind of what my summer gear loadout's going to look like. And this one comes out at a base weight of 12 pounds, not counting any food, water. And so a little bit of a difference in what we have. But if you want to see what that difference is, hang out, and we're just gonna dive into them. So let's start off with my ultralight pack first, because I know I put most of the items that I don't have two of in this one, so we can talk about that as we go, because some of these things would go into this one as well. But for some of the items I was able to, I have two of some of these things, maybe not the exact same product, but I put some extra things in there to show the full size of everything for the other one. So let's start off with the bag before I unclip it here. And so this one, if you watched the full loadout, I won't go into as much detail on this video as I do on that one. You can check that video out if you want, but this is an Outdoor Vitals Fast Pack. This is a 30 liter bag, so it's not going to hold as much. It's still a roll top bag like a lot of your ultralight packs, so it can still hold a decent amount. But it's not going to hold nearly as much as what this one could. And it's not going to hold as much weight comfortably as this one could. I even took this one not too long ago, as you guys saw on one of the videos, winter camping, and did an ultralight winter camping trip where I still had a decent amount of weight in it, and it carried wonderfully. Whereas this one, I would never want to try to put that much gear in it and get that much weight, because it would not wear as nicely. So the one little thing I'll tell you real quick, not to go into super detail, is that you can see the difference here in the packs, where this one has a lot more comfortable shoulder straps and hip belt for it. And so because it's meant to carry a little bit more weight as you're going out, whereas this one's meant to be super lightweight. There's not a lot of padding here in the shoulder straps. This one's meant more to snug to you so that it fits a little bit more firm, so that things are not bouncing around when you're running with it. And then also, just like similar to a running vest, it's got some water bladders that you can carry right here to have quick access to water, which I really love whenever I am out running. There's also a few small pockets, but like I said, I'm not going into all the details and everything. You can see here too, it doesn't have a really big waist belt. There's no padding to this whatsoever. It's literally just meant to pull the bag to you so that it helps snug it to you for when you're running. So to kind of go through the gear that we have here, Let's see here. So this one's just got a couple pockets. So in one pocket here, you'll see I've got a smart water bottle to be able to carry some water. I've got on the other side my Cat9 Be Free. This is a 1 liter filter. I love this thing. It's really lightweight. It works really well. There are quite a other filters out there on the market, but this one just seems to be the one that I carry the most because I like how it kind of packs down. I like that I can use it as extra carriage for water. If I'm in areas where I need to carry some extra, I can fill this up before I filter it and be able to take it into camp or something like that. But this would also go into the backpacking loadout. So we'll stick everything that could be in that one as well over there with that one. I've also got, you see here on the front, my Garmin InReach Mini. This thing goes everywhere with me. I have been thinking about upgrading to their newer InReach that they have because you can send text and pictures and other things on that one, but I just haven't decided to spend the money on that one quite yet to do it. But this thing I love. I love to be able to just send text and let folks know when I'm coming and when I'm going, and know that it gives me that sense of safety to know that if anything really bad happened, because a lot of times it's just me or me and Moose out on the trails, and so it just really makes me feel good to know that I could hit a button and somebody would come get me if something went wrong. So this one goes with both packs as well. And then we got the front packs here, front pockets. So here we've got, hi Willa. Willa's gonna let us know if all of this is trail tested and friendly. Thanks, Willa. As you know, as you've seen, I have a lot of dogs. We love our English Springer Spaniels. And so they'll probably all come and check us out while we're doing this today. But here is our poop kit. So here I just basically have a simple, this is a Deuces shovel here to be able to dig your cat hole, a little bit of toilet paper, and some Purell hand sanitizer too as well. And so I just keep this always on the outside of any of my packs. So this one goes in both packs. For either one of these. For fast packing, a lot of times I don't take my favorite little chair with me because I'm trying to limit how much weight I'm putting in the pack. And so a lot of times I will just carry this little bitty foam pad, which weighs next to nothing, but it does give me something to be able to sit on, and also maybe put my knees on or anything like that when I'm going to do some of this stuff. So this is something that goes in the fast packing kit. Sometimes it will also go with the backpacking kit because it really doesn't weigh anything, and I do like it sometimes to just kneel on at my tent to have. So if I'm going for 3 or 4 days or more, then I might still take it. Then I've got my first aid kit. If you guys have seen that video about where I show you everything that's in this, but this is what I call my ultralight first aid kit. I've managed to build it myself with just the things that I feel like I need out there on the trail. This thing doesn't weigh a ton, but you'd be surprised what this little thing has in it. So if you haven't seen that video, go check that one out next. But that one goes with both systems as well, and it goes everywhere I go. All right, I think that's everything in the pockets on this one. So now let's go into the bag. So this bag is packed for a trip that I'm going on here in the next few weeks where I'm going to be fast packing in California. And so I've got a little fleece in here to be able to have something to, there's still going to be some cool nights whenever things go down at night. And so I want to be able to stay warm to be able to, at the end of the day and when the sun goes down. I've got some extra socks. I've got my buff. As you guys hear me say all the time, this bad boy goes everywhere I go. And so that would be in both setups as well. I also have an air pillow that I take with me. This is a cheapo one that I get on Amazon, nothing fancy. I pair that with the buff. It becomes a pillowcase. If I want to stuff it to give it a little bit more height, I can stuff it with a fleece or something like that if I'm not wearing it to bed, and do that as well. This particularly would go with that one as well, but I think I threw an extra pillow in that one, so we'll stick it over here. For this trip here too, this is my Nemo All Seasons Tensor. I love this pad. You guys hear me rave and rave and rave about this pad. I know it's not the lightest pad that Nemo has, I know it's not the lightest pad on the market, but for me, it's super comfortable, and I love the R rating on it. So it really makes for an all seasons pad that I can take pretty much on any trip that I do. Maybe one of these days I'll find a pad that, you know, I want to take for my summer trips. But, you know, so many times here in Colorado, even when you're getting in the shoulder seasons, you can still get cool nights. And so being able to have something to help you take that heat off, make sure that you don't lose any heat to the ground is super important. And this thing is just so comfortable. So for me, like, even if I'm running, even if I'm trying to make this as light as I can for fast packing, I still take an air mattress for me because, you know, like I said, I'm getting close to 50, and having a good recovery is important for me, especially if I'm out running on the trails and stuff. And so sleeping well is always important. So I never skimp on the weight of that. For this particular trip that I have coming up, I'm taking with me my Outdoor Research Helium Bivy pad. So for this is not really what I would say would be my preferred. I am much more a tent guy. I like to be in a tent, and as you guys all know, a lot of times I go with Moose, and so I like to have a 2-person tent. But for this particular trip that I'm going to fast pack on, it's just going to be myself. Moose is not going with me, so I thought I don't get as many nights as I would like in this, so I wanted to test this out and get it out again and get out there and enjoy having the bivy on that. So super lightweight version for a tent. Maybe one of these days I'll decide to spend the crazy amounts of money and get one of those tents that are less than a pound, and then it would beat out the bivy and make it into the fast packing pack. All right, let's see here. Digging into a pocket here into the pack. Here I've just got some little things for my fast packing. I've got a little bitty flashlight. You guys have seen me talk in a lot of my videos. I don't normally, for a lot of my trips, especially during the summer, take a headlamp because, one, it doesn't really get dark till close to 9 o'clock most nights in Colorado. And most of the times by then, this old guy is already starting to get horizontal and start that recovery session. And so I don't really need a lot of flashlights. And you hear me talk a lot of times too about the fact that my Garmin Fenix watch has a flashlight on it. And so I use that really more than anything for that. But this is a little one that I have for this one. I've also got a toothbrush and some toothpaste. This one typically goes for both trips, so as the flashlight goes for both trips as well. Let's see, I think we're down to pretty much the last thing here, and that is my quilt. For this trip, my lightest quilt that I have is my REI Magma 30-degree quilt. Currently, I know there's some lighter versions out there. You guys tell me a lot about some of those in your comments, but for me, this one works really well so far for me, and I haven't had a reason to buy something new just to save a few ounces on anything because it's pretty lightweight. So that's it for my fast packing loadout over here. So now let's dive into the backpacking loadout. So you saw a lot of the things that we talked about that were the same for it. So let's see what else we have here. So I've got my own smart water bottle for this one. This one you can see, so the pack wise, not going to tell you a whole lot about it. You can go watch the other loadout where I go into more detail, but this is also an Outdoor Vitals pack. I just really have been liking, for me, there are a lot of other packs out there, and there are even some other lighter ultralight packs that you have, but one of the things that I love so much about Outdoor Vitals is how entry-level friendly they are to ultralight. They've got great gear that's really good quality, and they're not trying to necessarily be number one on the lightest, but they're going to still compare and be one of the top companies in the ultralight world. But because they're not trying to be the number one lightest tent or the number one lightest backpack, it allows for them to make gear that's at a more reasonable price, which is why you see that I buy a lot of their stuff. It's just really, really, to me, ultralight can be super expensive, and that's one of the things I don't like about it. Like right now, I'm having a hard time. You'll find when I talk about my tent here in a little bit, I know there are lighter tents out there. I'm just having a hard time paying $800 for a tent right now, and so we'll see if I change my mind on that down the road. But for now, let's go into kind of what I've got. So I love all the pockets on this thing. So here on the front pockets, I've got a micro towel. This is just a really ultra light towel that I like to carry with me when I'm backpacking. You know, I can use that to dry myself off, to dry Moose off. I can use it to do dishes, whatever. I mean, any kind of things like that for it. Let's see, I think that's everything in this. I would normally have had the I like to keep my poop pouch and everything in this one of these pockets here too as well, so it's easily accessible. My first aid kit normally goes in there a lot. Let's see what's on this side. My water filter goes in all these sometimes. Oh, here. So one of the things that I carry when I'm backpacking, but maybe not fast packing, because a lot of times on the fast packing trips, I'm not going for as long. And this particular trip coming up, I'm only doing 2 days. So I'm not taking my battery bank. But this little setup here is just a 10,000 milliamp night core battery bank. It's like 5 ounces, I think. This thing will charge your phone multiple times. It's plenty enough for a weekend trip anywhere you go. And then I've just got a couple cords and other things in there to be able to charge my phones. I also have, here's my little bitty original Swiss Army knife. This is the mini. This thing is super lightweight. I don't typically use a knife a lot of times when I'm summer backpacking, because a lot of times I'll take freeze-dried meals and things like that. Whereas you'll see in some of my videos when I'm doing winter backpacking, I like to take a lot more hearty food like steak and other things and stuff like that. So I typically do take a bigger knife and stuff with me. But for these, I don't really use a knife a lot, but I always want to have one just in case I do. And I really am not a huge fan of some of those crazy ultralight ones that are like a razor blade. So for me, I just love this little guy because it really doesn't weigh much and it gives me multiple things. So, I mean, as you guys know with a Swiss Army knife, it gives me a blade, I've got a file, I've got scissors, I've got a toothpick, I've got tweezers. I mean, you know, it's got it all. This is why Swiss Army's been around as long as they have been. Let's see. I've got my stake poles here for my tent. We'll talk more about the tent when we get to that. It's on the inside the pack. I typically have these pockets here filled with treats and other things. Oh, here are my sunglasses that I've been missing from my last trip that I went on. Oh, and here is some of my my mushroom coffee that I take with me for being able to keep myself going. I need to have some good Java for that. But you know, I really like, so I've been doing the mushroom coffee a lot because as I'm getting older, I find that I like the health benefits that taking in the mushrooms gives me for some of the stuff. But I also too like, I was not much of a coffee drinker most of my life, and I've only realized that as I've gotten older that I've now started to need a little bit of something to give me some pick-me-up. I am ADHD, and so most of my youth I had plenty of energy and I didn't need things like this, but now I'm starting to need it a little bit more. And so I like the fact that with the mushroom coffee that there's not a lot of caffeine in them as much as if you were drinking regular coffee. So for me, this is just something that I use. It does really well for helping me get going on the trail and other things. And the nice thing about the mushroom coffee blends, at least most of them that you find out there, is it's actually instant coffee in there, and so it's really easy to mix on the trail. So it makes for a great thing to carry out. And then also here's a little thing of trail mix. All right, I think that's everything in the pockets. Let's dive into the pack. So similar to the other one, this is also a roll pack. So you could actually have this thing stuffed pretty full with gear, and I say I've never really tried to pack it out with more than say 40 pounds. I think 35 to 40 pounds is the most I've ever really had in it. I know I went winter camping with it not too long ago and I was just under 30 pounds with it, and it felt really well. So I know when I've had it up to 40 pounds, it still seems to feel comfortable. It was a short trip. I wasn't really going long on it, so I don't know that I would go much more than that. So one of the things to always remember, when you're trying to think about going ultralight, is make your pack the last thing you get, because you want to make sure that you've got your total weight down to what the packs should be carrying before you actually do that. All right, so let's dive in. So the first thing in here, so backpacking a lot of times, especially in Colorado, I'm gonna have a rain jacket. for me. And so that's always the thing I keep on the top so that I can get to it the quickest on any of this stuff. And so this is just a cheapo ultralight rain jacket that I got on Amazon. I am kind of starting to look a little bit to see if there are some other versions out there that maybe I might decide to train this out for. Willa, do you like the rain jacket? Okay, you just want the coffee or the trail mix. All right. Then I've also got, I just tossed in, because normally I would always carry some kind of fleece or something. So this is just another one of my, this is actually one of my Outdoor Vitals running jackets that I have. I really love this thing, but I just kind of tossed it in there to have something in to show that I typically do carry a fleece similar to the other one. Hi, Moose. What do you think, Moose? Do you think we should carry a chair? Yeah, we should carry a chair. I know. We like carrying a chair. Okay, go away. So we can finish doing this. Next thing in the pack, of course, is my chair. I know I catch a lot of flack from folks for claiming to, have ultralight loadouts and then carry a chair. But you know what? I haven't always been fans of some of the ultralight chairs. I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'3", pushing somewhere around 220, 230, depending on the time of the year. And a lot of the ones that I've had, like I've had the REI chair, the ultralight one. I've had a couple other off-brand chairs, and they always seem to, I feel like I'm going to crush them. And so, for me, until I recently decided, this one went on sale, because you guys hear me talk a lot about when I'm looking at trying to work in the ultralight world, I'm always looking for discounts. I'm always looking for when things go on sale, because a lot of the really lightweight stuff costs a lot of money. And I'm not a big fan of paying a fortune to be able to get out and go backpacking. And so even though I do try to allow myself to have quality gear, and every year I will allow myself to buy one big item or something normally, or even save up for some items. But I always like to wait until I can to be able to get something on sale if I can. So this one I got recently on sale, because this is a lot more money than I think I should spend on a chair. And I've got quite a bit of their chairs. I love some of their hammock chairs and other things too as well. But this is the Nemo Moonlight. But I tell you what, though, this has made me fall back in love with having a chair again, because even though a lot of the other smaller chairs, I feel like they don't ever really hit me on the back, and I always feel like I'm just gonna crush them. This one sits more sturdy. It also, this case right here, which I'm not going to put it together but the case comes off and becomes a pad for the chair to sit into, which gives you extra ability on the ground so that you're not falling through any loose dirt or anything like that when you're sitting in it. But then it also has adjustable straps to be able to give you that ability to kind of cinch down and lean down in it a little bit more. And so for me, I've noticed that with that, it gives me a whole lot more back support than some of the other chairs do. I don't feel like I'm, fat guy sitting in a little bitty chair with this one. And so I do love this chair. And so it has made the 2026 loadout for backpacking this summer. All right, let's see what else we got in here. So I've got my Ursack. So typically I'm backpacking in the summer a lot of times in the Colorado mountains, and so bears are a thing here. And for me, this is another one of my bougie items that I spent a little bit of money on, because you could actually take a really lightweight bag and be able to heft it up and throw you a bear line and be able to get it up for a lot lighter weight. And I could easily get my pack weight down more if I was doing some of those kind of things. But for me, this is one of those things where you can just I can put it all my food in, I can tie it to a tree and be able to have it closer, easier than throwing a bear hang. Bear hangs are not as easy in the mountains in Colorado. Our trees don't like to give us a lot of long limbs to be able to toss things up on, so it's a lot harder for me, I think, to do. And so I just like having this as one of my items. Next, my cook kit. You guys have seen me do videos on my cook kit, so I won't go into much detail on a lot of it, but it is a canister stove that I carry, so I can all toss into one thing here. I've got my canister fuel, I've got my pocket rocket the MSR stove here that I use. There are a lot of other options out there too. I love this one. I haven't bought anything else just yet because this one works really well. But there's so many other entry-level markets that are just as good as this that you don't have to spend the money on this one to get yourself something going. I will have a Bic lighter, and then I right now have the Toaks Titanium 55 or 550 liter or milliliter pot. For me, this one works right now. Everybody gives me a hard time and says that I should have the 750. I did put it on my Christmas list. We'll see here in a few days whether or not the boys decided to get it for me or not. Just because I decided to fall into the peer pressure of you guys and to do it. And it would be nice, I think, you know, if I am taking a second person out. I have noticed that when one of my sons and I would go out, that if we were both going out and I wanted to have a hot drink and to be able to have water for my meal and to have water for his meal, then this little guy wasn't enough. This is enough for any meal that I've ever done myself. And then I normally would just reheat up if I wanted some coffee or something else or some tea at the end of the day to just have a warm drink. But it's worked really well for what I've needed so far. So I've really enjoyed it. But that, and as you guys have heard me say on many occasions, one of my luxury items that I like is a hot meal at the end of the day. And so I know there are other lighter options than this, but this is what I have for my loadout for 2026. Next in here is not Moose's favorite. And so it's just an accessory kit that I have here. This has a little bit of anything and everything in it. It's got a brush. As you guys, I always hear me talking about, I've got long hair, so I always just try to carry some little brush or something. I've seen a smaller version of one on Garage Grown Gear that I've got my eye on. Maybe I'll get that one and that'll cut a bit, but this thing weighs next to nothing. A little bit of extra bandage that I put in for when I'm going out on longer trips. That just adds to my first aid kit. I just have always got that mindset of if I'm going out by myself, especially if I'm with Moose, if I ever do anything like twist an ankle or something, I want to be able to hopefully at least try to wrap myself back up enough to where maybe I can at least hobble out and not have to worry about hitting that button on that in reach. Some other minor things in here. This is just a little bitty Hilltops pack that I got a long time ago. This is my backup worst case scenario. If I run into a situation where my earth sack, if I feel like the bears are close enough and I feel like that's tempting them or something, and I want to actually throw a bear line, there's some ultralight cordage in here that I just keep in here with this little ultralight bag that I can actually take, throw some rocks in and use it to throw a bear line. So this weighs next to nothing to be able to throw in and just have for support if I feel like I need it when I'm out there. So it keeps me from having to just leave the trip because the bears are a little bit closer or something. You've probably seen me go through this just real quick. I've got some paper in it, notepad, pencil. I've got some floss picks. I've got some zip ties to fix stuff. I've got a compass. Some chapstick, little bitty, some bobby pins for repair stuff. So this is just kind of that all thing. It helps with any of the other stuff. Like I said, it's this some extra weight, but you know, it makes sure that I have what I need if I'm out there, and it really doesn't weigh that much for all of this combined. So, and I just got this little bitty bag that I throw it all in. All right. Here, this is just a pad to pretend that it's an air pad so that I had something in the pack. The one that, of course, I take pretty much on everything, which goes into this pack as well, is the Nemo Tensor Elite. This is a lighter version and a cheaper version if you're really trying to get into having something. Well, and I shouldn't say lighter because I think this thing weighs almost the same as that one. But it's the Climate Static V. I just tossed this in there. To me, it's not quite as comfortable, but it's way cheaper and it's a lot more of an entry level. But it is not a bad. I have taken this one out many times before. It's actually not horribly uncomfortable. It's actually decent, I would say, in it. It's just not as comfortable as that one is for it. And then I threw in another air pillow just because this is another one that I got. I think it's a Climate. Oh yeah, another Climate pillow that I got. I think I won this one for free somewhere at a raffle one time. But just threw that in there to have one in, so that I was trying to get the bag to look like it normally would. And then I've got here my tent. So this is my lovely Big Agnes Tiger Wall. This is the Ultralight 2. It's a 2-person tent. I love this thing. You guys see me in this thing all the time. It's not the lightest tent on the market, like I said, but it's not the cheapest tent on the market. I'm actually going to do, there's a couple tents that I'm looking at trying to get on Amazon that I feel like are not very far off from this. I think some of these new ultralight tent companies that are trying to get that entry level, they're going to really start pushing on some of these guys like Big Agnes because they're way cheaper and not much more in weight for that. So there are some really good beginner options that you can get into ultralight, and I'll do some more videos about some of that in the future too as well. But I love this tent because of the room that it gives. Even if I wasn't taking moose out with me, I just like having a little extra room in the tent with me, so I don't mind having a little bit of extra weight. And I'm not quite ready yet to spend $800, as I've mentioned, just to save. I think this one, I can't remember the exact weightage on it. I'll toss it up on the screen, and then I'll provide you guys both of my loadout spreadsheets for both of these loadouts so that you can see all of the different items side by side on it. But this thing, it's under 2 pounds total, counting stakes and all, stakes, poles, and everything, and it's super comfortable. I took this tent with me on the entire 500 miles of the Colorado Trail and loved every bit of it. It's held up. There's been no major issues with it along the way. And it's kind of my go-to tent that I have for everything nowadays. I am kind of in the market. I'm looking at some of the other ones. I like how, like Durston and some of those have some where they're not as expensive if you don't go for their pro models and stuff. But for me, like if I'm gonna spend some money and I'm gonna have to spend $400, $500, $600, $800 if it comes to that, I want to save some weight if I'm gonna do it, because that was one of the things that I loved the most about when I was out on the Colorado Trail. Was there were quite a few people that I ran into on the trail that were in their 60s, 70s, and I even met one couple that was in their 80s. And the way they were able to be out there on the trail and to do the mileage that they were doing was by continuing to go lightweight. And so to me, the reason why I talk a lot about ultralight, even though I'm not the lightest guy on the trail, is that I know it's important for me to slowly keep trying to find ways to minimize the weight that I have on the trail, because I want to be those guys that is in my 70s and 80s and still hitting the trail and still doing some of those fun trips, and not just a one-nighter, or a car camping thing. I want to be able to take off and get out into the backcountry and go to some crazy places. And so I'm always trying to lighten my load. And so feel free to share with me anything that you guys are using that is reasonably priced, but could help me get even lighter on that. And so I think here is the last thing I have in this particular bag. And the reason why I have this one in here is because when I'm gonna start using this one in spring and summer, and so a lot of the shoulder seasons I need a little bit warmer of a bag here in Colorado. So this is my Outdoor Vitals 15-degree quilt. I just recently got this one. This is one of the things that I love about Outdoor Vitals that I've told before, is that they have a membership program where you pay in a monthly fee, but the money doesn't go to them. It actually goes into your own little piggy bank to be able to save up for gear. And so, and then too, they end up giving you all kinds of discounts. I get discounts on all kinds of other gear. There's a lot of times I buy some of my other gear from other things on there because of the discounts that they're able to give us members from some of the other companies. And so this particular quilt here isn't an expensive quilt. It's a really lightweight quilt for a 15-degree quilt that I normally would have had a hard time spending, and paying for. But because I was able to save up my money and I didn't buy anything else for a while there, I think I banked up almost a year's worth of my membership fees. And then all of a sudden I looked and I went, wow, I've got enough money now to where I only got to pay $25 extra to get the quilt. So that's what I did. And so I really love this thing. This is a really good, I took it on a winter trip with me. It worked really well. And so for me, this one's going to be a good, winter, fall, spring quilt for me. Whenever I know that those temperatures could still get close down to freezing or even below freezing when I'm out in the mountains and stuff for that. And so that's it, guys. That's everything that I have in my backpacking kit. And in my Fastpacking kit. So I hope this was helpful for you guys to be able to see the difference in them. Like I said, you can tell that when I'm out and I'm gonna go running on the trails and I'm really wanting to cover distance and I'm really wanting to get out there, then I'm gonna go lighter weight. I am looking for more options on finding ways to be able to get even lighter, and maybe one of these days if I can get some cool things. I've seen a couple cottage companies that have done some kind of tarp tent looking things that actually look more tent like than they do tarps. I do take out a tarp sometimes, but I don't like the open nature of the tarp. And so some of these things that they've made out and they've built these tarps where they're a little bit better to where they kind of come down and close down almost like a tent. So I'm looking at some of those, trying to get in maybe a couple of those kind of things to help me with my ultralight here, because I'm not going to always want to do with the bivy. I think it's going to be fun to do the bivy with the tent or with my trip out to Joshua Tree out into the desert, because I love looking at the stars, and I think it's going to be awesome just being able to lay out in the desert and look up and hopefully see some amazing stars. So we'll see how that goes on that trip. You can check that one out here in the next few weeks. Not sure when that one will come out compared to this video. And then my backpacking one. So typically when I'm going out backpacking, guys, I'm typically going out for a longer period of time. So I'm normally going out for 3, 4, 5 days sometimes. I didn't have this when I thru hiked the Colorado Trail. I probably would have used it doing something like that. This would probably be a similar loadout that I would have maybe for a thru hike. I maybe would rethink some things, but it would probably be very similar for this. But as much as I know ultralight is 10 pounds or less, which is why a lot of times I love to call this one my ultralight bougie, because could I cut out a couple comfort items here to make this as under 10 pounds? Absolutely. But am I going to? No. And do I feel bad that my base weight is 12 pounds? No, I don't. I feel like that's still a really amazing base weight to set. And that any of you guys, if you could get that as your base weight, because even if you added in 3, 4, 5 days worth of food, you're still going to be sitting at a pack that's in the 30 pounds at the most. And this pack carries that really comfortably out on the trail. And so there's so many options for things out there. I'm sure as the time goes on, I will have some access to different gear too as well, and that you'll see different things for that. But one of the things that I really love is I really appreciate how many of you guys have been sharing with me all the gear that you guys use, because not only is it beneficial to me, because I'm always trying to decide what I want next, but it's also beneficial to the rest of my audience. There's so many people that come to this channel and so many other channels that are out there that are trying to just weed through all the videos to see what are the gear options, because there's so many options out there, which is why too, I'll kind of end this one with saying that you should check out, I've decided that to start the new year of this year, that I was going to do a video on how to build the best beginner backpacking gear setup. And the way I was going to do that is because, as I mentioned, there's so much gear out there. I can't test it all. So many of the other backpacking gurus who have been doing this way longer than I have, as far as their channels go, can't test it all either. There's just so much out there. Whether you're talking about the garage companies that, are just doing things and selling stuff on like garage grown gear for the cottage companies, or you're talking about the big companies, every time you turn around, they've got something else coming out, or even the companies overseas and other places that are shipping, on things like Temu or Amazon and stuff. There's so much gear out there. And so the whole point of that video is that I'm polling all of you guys. I want thousands and thousands and thousands of you guys to fill out this little form that I built out to tell me what you think would be the best backpacking gear for a beginner to start out with. Because I don't want to just use my knowledge to try to put out another video that says, here's the best backpacking gear for a beginner. I want to get the poll from all of you guys. And so I'm actually going to collect this poll for a whole year. And I'm going to do 3 different videos across the way. And I'm assuming that this video will probably come out after that video did. So it's probably already there, and I will link it here. So if you haven't already seen that video or watched that video, go and check it out and fill it out. Because I'm going to take that data that you guys fill in on that, and I'm going to do at 30 days, I'm gonna take it and see what the data says, and then I'm gonna do it again at 6 months, and then I'm gonna do it one last time at 1 year. And so I just want as many people as possible to go and share your knowledge, because guys, I've been backpacking for 30 years, and I know I've used a lot of different gear over those 30 years, which is why it makes it easy for me to show you a lot of this stuff that I have. This is all gear that I've bought. Nobody gave me any of this gear. And so I've learned a lot of things in it. But if I can take the knowledge from all of you and all the decades that you guys have in doing this stuff, imagine the list that we could build. Even if you're brand new, don't be afraid to fill out, because you're still learning. You've bought some gear. You've got some knowledge to share as well. So I want everybody, go fill out that form, and let's see what we can figure out from everybody about what is the best gear that we can have to get every single person out enjoying the outdoors like we do. With all that being said, I hope this was super helpful for you. I know that this was long-winded. Sorry for how long it was, but let me know in the comments, what would you do different? I'm always looking to see how to change and grow my packs in the years to come. You know, this may be what I'm doing for 2026, but who knows what I'll do for 2027. So share with me and share with everybody else. What do you guys do for your ultralight packs? Do you do something different? Do you fast pack? Or what do you do for your backpacking kits? Tell me in the link below. And as always, guys, I really appreciate all of you guys as we're going into 2026. I'm so thankful for all of you that watch, that subscribe, that comment, do all the things on the videos. And I really do hope that one of these days I run into you guys on the trail and that you guys stop me and say, hey, I know you, or at least you know Moose. So either way is fine with me. But have a great day, guys.